I'm able to stand back far and take a look and then use the lighting that would be in a gallery setting and see what others are going to view.
And so are you typically working on multiple pieces at the same time? Maybe talk a little bit about, what the process is for, composing the pieces and who's doing what, and just tell me how you do this.
Okay. Well, we start off with the size that we want to go for, and we build all the canvases here, and so we.
And so do you have a wood shop where you do that? Or, yeah, you have to show us that.
It's quite messy, and we keep the chickens out of there. We're right in their business. And then we measure it out really exactly because we don't want it to be curvy. And so we're getting better with some time. And we go for the imagery. We use a lot with our dreams and come up with a story that we want to share. And we do some collage, or we put some papers down, papers that we gather from everywhere, and go for a lot of texture. So we merge those in there, and then we do some staining. At one point, we bring the images out by drawing them out. We use a china marker with a pencil that's waxy, and then we just build it from there. We layer in some deep colors, and we come back with some oil and brighten it up.
Okay. And so, how do you? Are you typically both working on the canvas at the same time, or? I mean, not at the exact same time, but are both of you touching most of the canvas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I build the wood, I bring it in, and she's getting the canvas out and measuring, and then we're stapling. She does a lot of the stretching of the canvas. I got to get better at that.
Oh, come on now, you make me sound like I'm your
She's really good at that. She gives me a lot of layering those textures, and we talk about that too, and which papers we want to use, and we have drawers full of papers. And then.
So how it works is I start the piece and lay out the color, the composition, the idea of what we're doing, and then I get it to a stage with the acrylic where everything's pretty much mapped out, and then John comes in and he does the final coat with the oil and all the little details and all those little doodads and the fine painting is John, but the big broad picture of it is what I do. So
okay.
That's how it works. Is I start him and he finishes them.
And is there a lot of discussion ahead of time? Here's kind of the plan of where we want to go with this piece, or does it just kind of happen?
Yeah, well, if it's something we've done before, we don't discuss it at all. I just do it, and we know each other's parts. And but if it's something brand new, then it takes time, and we'll hash it out, duke it out. And when it's more, now that we're kind of doing some representational things, like these horses or the dancers, it changes a little bit because, like the cities, the landscapes, the total abstract are exactly how I described it. But like these trees, John does all those little drawings, and then there's actually a watercolor painting underneath, and I do the watercolor painting, but John does all that little drawing first. So there's a little more involved and a little bit more to the process in some of the more representational stuff. And then like the dancers, I do the figure, the actual figure, start to finish, because my bent is more representational, and then the background. So on the figure ones, they're a little more mine, but like on the trees, they're a little more John.
I see.
You know what I mean? And then the horses, the abstracts, the cities, I say are pretty much half and half.
Huh. And are there ever instances where it just doesn't work? Like
yeah.
You're working on a piece and it really ends up not coming together, or you have to start over again?
Yeah, there's examples all over the place. Eventually, at some point, you can resolve them, It might take a year or two, but eventually you can figure it out.
Come back in.
Or you just paint over it.